how have you felt about the quality of your education here at Southeastern?
I'm not really sure, like, what... I feel like I've learned a lot, whether it was actually, like, something that could be published in a book and later, like, referenced or not. You know, I'm not really sure. But I feel like I've learned a lot about myself and, like, where I should be in the world and what I should be trying to do in the world since I've been here. But as far as, like, some sort of textbook education, I'm not completely sure, because, like, sometimes I kind of feel like, you know, it could have been better or something. I feel like a lot of times I'm the only one in the room or something that kind of cares, like, and not just about the grades or whatever, but, like, about, like, you know, just learning about different things that have happened in lives, like, before mine and stuff. So, yeah. So it's,
Oh, by the
I have mixed feelings about it.
So, I mean, have you, in terms of, like, teachers, is this an ideal education? And what, do you have an idea of what maybe an ideal education might look like? Or, and it could be as simple as, I don't know, strolling through the park.
I mean, an ideal education to ideally make it financially in the external world and all, like, you know, in the space and all, like, I think that, you know, it should have, like, prestige behind it, and it should have, like, these things that are going to look attractive whenever you, like, go to try to get a job in the real world and all that. But as far as, like, an ideal education, I think it's really more important to learn about yourself and, like, you know, how best to, like, kind of come into your own and everything. Like, kind of like, you know, the people have all this potential, everyone does, and, like, some people have strengths in other areas and some people don't, but really, I mean, it's just, like, kind of about, you know, I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is, like, an adequate education as far as, it's so hard to, like, determine, like, what is what, because I feel like there are two separate things. Like, there's the education you get on a piece of paper, and you have professors, and you have classes that you go to, and you have times to be at the classes, and you have notes you gotta study to be able to take this test and everything. But then it's like, on the other hand, you've got what you know, what you learn about yourself through what you learned in the class, like, and that's kind of like a whole different type of education.
Right, right.
So, I feel like in moments, yes, I, like, this is, like, a very good, some of the teachers that I've had, like, have been really, you know, productive in that area, I guess, of, like, kind of, you know, teaching us about ourselves without teaching us about ourselves, because that kind of requires you to be the teacher, even though you're the student.
Right.
And they're, you know, but yeah, I don't know, it's just, I feel really confused about.
So that, like, there's you know, the book smarts or whatever, learning the material itself, but there's a you're saying this other education is almost more enriching and more cherishing.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what you're going to remember. I'm not going to remember, you know, what Beethoven's, you know, whatever symphony sounded like. You know, I'm going to forget that, you know, 2 days later, which is why I can't even recall any of that kind of stuff right now. But,
right.
Like, you know, I don't know, it just, different things from different classes have, you know, kind of left an impression on me that didn't come out of the textbook or come out of the notes, you know, it came out of, like, just, I don't know, like, learning about things that people did and stuff, and being like, oh, well, yeah, you can kind of see, like, there's, like, this just crazy, like, these circles, and they just keep happening over and over and over, and it's like, where do we break this? And it's like, you know, and it's, I don't know, just different things.
So you almost approach it, you ask the question, where do we break it? Where do we break the circle? So you're kind of approaching it practically.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. How have you, like, in terms of your education, like, growing up? How have you felt about that whole thing, you know, K through 12, I guess?
That was, like, really, I didn't go to school a lot of the time, actually, like, K through 12 stuff, like, it was kind of off and on, because I had like a lot of medical problems and stuff. And then like my mom was like really easy to push over, and I just didn't want to go to school because I also didn't have like any friends or anything. And that was like really, I don't know, I think like kindergarten was probably like the most like detrimental year of my life. Like that's whenever I like learned to hate myself because I like looked different, you know? Like I wasn't this like skinny little kindergartner with a big bow and whatever, but I also went to like a really, you know, uppity preppy school, so I think that had something to do with it. But whatever, I mean, so I didn't know that if I was going to even be really prepared for college when I got here. So like K through 12 was kind of, I don't know, it's like bits and pieces. I remember being in school, and I remember a lot of time not being in school.
And that was primarily due to medical issues?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I had back issues when I was about like, I don't know, 11 or so, I think. Like, and they couldn't figure that out, so I was out of school for a while. And then I went to this other school, Temple Christian or something. I don't know, but anyway, it was like this small little, that school actually taught me something there, because they were like, I had been raised Catholic, and I never really felt like, oh yeah, God is totally my best friend, and I can just totally talk to him whenever, and this is totally real. Like, I never was like one of those kids that was like, yeah, I believe in God, like Santa, you know. Like, I believed in Santa, but I didn't believe in God, which is really weird. But it was like, Santa would give me shit that I could see, you know, like, even though I couldn't see him. And it was like, I didn't understand the concept of God, because I'm like, what, this crappy life with no friends? Like, that's what God gave me? Thanks a lot, asshole, you know. But like, anyway, so, yeah, but anyway, that school, there was this one teacher, and she was like a substitute teacher, and she subbed in our class one day, and their textbook was written to where it was like completely slanted against Catholic people, because they were like hardcore Southern Baptists. So, she was subbing our class, and she knew I was Catholic, and so she like started asking me all these really off-the-wall questions. She was like, so, who's your dad gonna vote for president this year? And I was like, I don't know. And like I was trying to think of like what I had like heard in like country songs, and I thought like, because I was like 10 or 11, and I just didn't. I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, maybe he's. Turns out he was Republican, but anyway, I said that he was Democratic, or whatever, so I said he was going to vote for Al Gore, and she was like, did you know that he's for abortion? Oh my God, class, did you hear how her dad is going to vote for the president who is for abortions? And I was like,
dang.
Okay. So anyway, it just kind of like taught me a lot. I was like, wait, you know, and not only that, but then I was like, if religion is supposed to like unify people, how come this is like so alienating for other people? Like, this is really, I didn't have the words, but I knew,
right,
you know, like I had the feelings. So I guess that experience taught me a lot. Then I went to another little school, and I had like lost a bunch of weight, and I was like really, really skinny. I was like 80 pounds or something. And then like, nobody, I didn't have any friends there either, because like, I was like so skinny, and I was like, oh, come on, you know, like,
jeez.
So, oh goodness, I went from being like morbidly obese, really little kid, to like really, really skinny, like no friends either time. A couple friends in the middle there, and that was kind of like my middle school years. And then I think I was out from there somewhat. Oh yeah, because I was having like all these like stomach issues and stuff, and like I was eating a lot and like losing a lot of weight, and they couldn't figure out what it was, and so they put me on like a gluten-free diet for a year, which like sucked at the time because like nobody was doing the gluten-free thing. Now I'm like, oh, what the hell, like like everything, you can like, you know, really find stuff pretty easily now that's like supposedly gluten-free or whatever, but yeah. So I had that I was dealing with a lot like during school, and then when I was like a teenager, I guess some, like sort of around that same time, like right after that pretty much, I was having like some really weird bleeding issues, and they thought that I maybe had like some kind of leukemia or something. So like I was constantly like going to the doctor, because I would like I would have my period, but it would be like hemorrhaging for like a month or something. It was like really, really terrible.
Jesus.
And then they tried to control it with like birth control pills, and that just made it worse. And I was like, there's no way that this like hormonal stuff can be good for you. And
Right.
you know, it's kind of whenever I've like turned the off switch on for the whole like you know, women's medical stuff. I don't know, whatever. But then I went to high school, and it actually started out pretty good. Like the high school I went to was really open, and it was like really, I felt like really accepted. You know,
Where was that at?
that was Baton Rouge High.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, I like really like kind of, I felt like okay there, and I felt like good about being there, and like there were just all kinds of different people, and nobody said shit about anybody being different or anything, and it was just really awesome. And then I got sick with mono, and I was out of school for a while with that. And then I think I just went homebound after that, or something. I don't know what happened. I can't remember. But then I went back the next year in high school, and I was out for a while with that. And I really didn't want to be out, but it was really, really hard to do all the schoolwork because it was like a bunch of just, like, I don't know, I had to carry my books around, and I couldn't, like, carry stuff. And then we're like, okay, well, we'll just leave your books in the room. Well, then kids would take my books, and then I would get to class and, like, not have a book, and we're like, well, this is just too problematic for our smoothly running system, and you're just so damn different, like.
So your kind of experience up to now has kind of been this strange tug of war between medicine and school, right?
Yeah, and it's always been, like, some sort of external crazy, like,